speaking of Netflix series and 30 for 30s and all that,
Jaden
Rashada, dude, like that's the ideal storyline
right there, y'all. That was first team All-American out of transition.
Hey, we try to learn from you. So what the hell do you make of this situation, man? Like, what is this?
I do not know. I think the hope is that this is now a cautionary tale for collectives, athletes, programs alike, like that. Hey, there is such a thing as too much. I'm also encouraged that the actual figure was reported by different outlets. Like I know the Athletic said it was like around 13 million.
Yeah.
Which like there's NFL players that are making $13 million. And so I think you just have a situation of schools and collectives probably flying. I don't know if schools is the right verbiage, but collectives flying too close to the sun, and this bidding war that happened between Miami and Florida. And now it's just like, hey, this is just a egg on everybody's face. I think there's something to be said for the opportunity cost if you're Jaden Rashada. Like the blame is definitely on the schools. Like we signed a contract. You told me we'd get 13 million. You didn't keep up your end of the deal. So now I'm looking elsewhere. I understand that. I think if NIL is like the focus, if that's the hope that, hey, I want to cash in based on my worth and NIL value, that's fine. To my understanding or to my assumption, you would have to think that it wasn't 13 million or we'll give you nothing. It wasn't like, hey, surprise, right, no money for you. Like, and also what's the opportunity cost of going to another school? Like if NIL is your hope, are you going to get as much money going to Arizona State, TCU, Washington, the schools that we're talking about now? And is it worth becoming a headline? Like, I don't know if all of that was thought through to the nth degree, but it's just a bad look for everybody. And now for Florida, for future recruits, if NIL is involved, there's going to have to, at best, be an explanation for, hey, this is why it didn't happen. This is why it fell through. This is what went wrong, why we didn't pay him. And at worst, now you're just going to miss out on some kids. Like at worst, now you're going to have kids that just say, I don't trust Florida. And that's unfortunate. I think it could send ripple effects. And I think, like I said, a lot of programs and collectives alike are going to learn from this.
That was one thing I was thinking, because we know a quarterback who was involved, and I guess he's committed to Florida per se. Baylor was in the mix as well. So I was wondering like how that would impact players like him. But that's a great point. But as far as right now with Rashada, what do you think he ends up? I know his dad's went to Arizona State, and there's that connection. But ultimately, where do you see him playing his ball?
Yeah, the way I understand it is visited ASU. That went well. Him and Kenny Dillingham, the head coach there, have a relationship from when he was at Oregon. The visit to TCU that's approaching, I'm really fascinated by. I don't have a tremendous feel as to like where he would end up going. My hope for him would be he goes to TCU, because at this point, TCU is a little bit more of a stable situation from where I'm looking at. Like, hey, they just, played for a national championship. So they need like an offensive-minded coach. You're not going into your first year with the new head coach and a program kind of trying to find its footing as ASU is. That's not to knock ASU. I think Kenny Dillingham's going to be great there. But for Jaden Rashada, too, I think getting away from the West Coast could be the difference for him. Like right now, you've got, I would imagine, your camp around you, which helped sort out the whole NIL situation. And you've been at home for however many years as, obviously playing high school football. Like, go out, get out of the spotlight, redshirt for a year behind Chandler Morris, and just like go to work, dude. Just go to work. You don't need to play early. Go get around a winning culture and just develop personally and as a player. So the beautiful thing is it just takes 1 year for this guy to have this whole storyline kind of in his rearview mirror. Like Florida might have to deal with this for a little bit longer. But if Jaden Rashada goes out and just lights it up in 2024 for TCU, we're not even talking about this. We're saying, yeah, that was unfortunate. We all learned a lot, but Jaden Rashada can deal the pill. Like that's kind of, I think, the thing you would hope for him. And I would love to see him at TCU. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's a really good point. On the topic of TCU, though, I'd love to hear your thoughts on their offensive coordinator hire, Kendall Briles.
Yeah. Hey, I mean there's a lot that comes with it, right?
Yeah.
A lot that comes with it, especially in the state of Texas. At the end of the day, though, I mean, dude can coach some ball. Like, I mean, if it wasn't TCU, I think it would have been someone else at some point in time. Like somebody else would have hired Kendall Briles. The script for the movie now just reads with a little bit more spice that it was TCU.
Oh, but yeah. Wasn't he rumored to have like some kind of offer from Mississippi State, or do I have that college wrong?
Yeah, I don't know. I would imagine there were other people that wanted Kendall Briles to coach their offense. So
from what I've heard, it was someone, I think it was Mississippi State, gave him an offer. He got a pay raise out of Arkansas to stay. And then TCU offered, and he tried to like get another raise in the same offseason, and they're like, "Yeah, no." And that's how it facilitated his move to TCU. I saw that somewhere on Twitter. I'll go find the source. But
no, I love it. I mean, at the end of the day, though, like guy can coach some ball regardless of all the other stuff that is surrounding his name. I think it's a good get for TCU, to be honest with you. So. I'll have to step between the white lines and coach him up. But from an optics perspective, I think it presents some other storylines. But I like the move for TCU, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, the offense racks up yards.
Oh, yeah. I think sticking with the Big 12, I think TCU is going to have a hard time, kind of following up, reaching the mountaintop with so many people that they lost off this roster this year. And the Big 12 as a whole, right now, obviously, we're still waiting on a schedule. I know Mac Rhodes, the Baylor AD, has said it's probably going to be in a couple of weeks here at the end of the month. But as a whole, when I think Texas, this is like a make or break season for the Longhorns, in my opinion, because
at least for Sark.
Yeah, at least for Sark.